All right, Stochastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you on a Sunday sort of afternoon with one Eric Lindquist as we are getting a 7-game, highly compressed slate. Everything's tipping off in the first hour here. We are going to take you down the home stretch. Tip-off is at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. Some used to call that the best coast. How are you doing, Mr. Lindquist? You've got
I'm
the
doing
Oscars.
lovely.
You've got Giannis getting posterized. You've got, what else? There's a golf tournament that's wrapping up right now.
Fun story. So walked my dog in the neighborhood. And I live kind of kitty corner from Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst. And they came out because the Oscars are today. And so they came out of their house into a black car. And like my dog's walked in the neighborhood before. And my brother told me this story a long time ago, how, you know, because I only ever like see them at a bar that's nearby to us and don't really talk to them all that much. But my brother told me this story when he came and visited. He took my dog for a walk and Kirsten Dunst's dog got out. And then they ended up talking for an hour. And I'm like, this is a lie. You flat out lied to me. And so I was just like, oh, and they're like, we haven't seen your dog forever. Oh my gosh. And they're like, are you the owner? I was like, no, I think last time you met my brother, 100% verified his story. So I'm a little disappointed because one, my brother's not a liar and I just like to hate on him from time to time. And then two, they're going to the Oscars and I am not. So different stuff. I am going to go to the Clippers Timberwolves game tonight, though, at the old 6:30 p.m. So traffic should be great between Oscars, Timberwolves, all the other stuff.
That wasn't planning very well at all.
Yeah.
For the city.
It wasn't.
You know what they need? Forget bureaucracy. They need a cheerocracy. See what I did? Kirsten Dunst, bring it on. Cheerocracy. Do you need jazz hands?
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of things. One, you have to remember the role too. It's not like you brought up Spider-Man or something that's like so iconic. You brought up Bring It On, bro. Like, what are we doing?
That's the first movie I think of when I think of her.
That's the first movie you think of? I think of Wimbledon, if I'm going to be honest. Wimbledon was fire.
Oh, who's the guy who's in it?
He's the guy who plays Vision in Marvel.
Yeah, Paul. He's married to Bettany.
Yeah,
Paul Bettany.
There we are.
Thank you, producer.
Thank you, producer Jacob from the top rope. He's just like, you guys disturb me. Here's the thing is that I know a lot about movies and I'm pretty sure I do pop culture on every one of these shows. And yet there's like one time every 3 or 4 recordings with producer Jacob where he's like, do you even like movies, bro? Where he's just like, oh, it's like he's mansplaining movies to another man or something. It's pretty funny.
Always good times. Well, hit that like button, if not for us, for producer Jacob. We're going to get into all the fun here. I see we've got close to 700 watching. This should be a spirited show. Yes, Jennifer Connelly. That's who he was married to. Is
not ugly.
Phoebe Cates is married to Kevin Kline. That's where I was getting confused. Okay.
It's all right. Lay down, Grandpa. You're okay.
Present day. Oh, you want to hear
Head on
my
the
funny
pillow.
story?
I'm ready. Yeah.
You ever have that dream where you wake up and you go to class and there's a test that you didn't study for?
At least once every 2 months. Yeah.
You're in college and you realize on the day of the finals, you forgot to drop the class or whatever. That actually happened to me this morning. So I got mad because I missed the RJ Barrett news last night. So that was an
important
issue for my late slates and my showdown slates. Still managed to min cash because the field had about 40% of him. But in any event, the doorbell rings. My dog is just going nuts. And I look at my watch. I'm like, oh my God, it's after 8. How did I sleep in? I'm running downstairs and it's a moving truck outside. And 2 movers are like, okay, we're here to move you. I'm like, but you're not supposed to be here till the 14th. Why did you bring a moving truck? We're moving it into one of those pods and all of this. So I was like, and they showed me the thing and they're like, no, we already went to one other place. It's your house. I'm looking, it's my address. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, guys. I go back inside and then I see a friend come up. I forgot my wife is giving a bunch of bedroom furniture to one of our friends. So they came to move that. And I was just panicking like, oh shit, we're not packed. This is horrible. Anyway, back to the show.
And then you found $100.
No, sadly. There was no $100.
Well, you tried.
Very sad. All right, so let's hit some of the key things here, and then and we'll move along quickly and we'll go by position. But the key
He plays for
news
Toronto.
Yeah, Marco Fultz is out. Marvin Bagley is out. Jalen Suggs is out. Kevin Love and Tyler Hero are out. We already kind of knew all that. Jalen Johnson, as a reminder, is out, as is Okongwu and Trae Young. So Vit Krejci could be in our lives. Cleveland is still without Donovan Mitchell. Dean Wade away from the team for personal reasons, probably because he didn't score any points in 33 minutes in his last appearance. Max Strus also out. Keep in mind that Mobley is out in that game. On the other side, Cam Johnson is out again. Lonnie Walker is available. We're waiting for Memphis. God only knows what they're going to do. If Jordan Goodwin starts, we want to play him. If he's not starting, don't have him in your lineups because he has 4 games left, I think, before his contract converts. So they're spacing those out. Memphis is, but they already have Conchar, Kennard, and Gigi Jackson listed as questionable, as is Vince Williams. So half of their remaining players are out or decision points. And then Tyrese Maxey and Embiid remain out, and OG Anunoby. So those are the main ones. So mostly Memphis is what we're waiting on. And then Rashawn Holmes, questionable because, Marvin Bagley's out. Rashawn got the start last game. So who knows if we're going to see Kuzma masquerading as the permanent 5 or if Rashawn Holmes is coming in. Any other ones I missed there? I think that's all.
No, I think you kind of hit on the main ones. I mean, it's wild how important Dean Wade out is to the complexion of this slate. Didn't think I would say that at any point this season, but here we are. I'm in love with getting to that basketball team, it would appear today. I know our friend DK loved getting to that basketball team the other night in his 35K lineup that he ended up hitting for. So I had 3 Cleveland Cavaliers against my Minnesota Timberwolves. So we're going to be paying attention to some starting lineups. Obviously, you want to see Sam Merrill. That's going to exist in that one. Otherwise, I mean, this is like a little bit of a sprint slate. We have 4 games locking here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Then 7 p.m. Eastern time, you get the next wave of them. Thank God we don't have to think about the Lakers. But yeah, the Kennard, the Vince Williams, the Gigi Jackson. I think that the late swap of this slate is just those 2 games, knowing that I'm going to be overweight to some Cleveland pieces. And I could very easily turn that into some Memphis pieces if that news breaks a certain way.
All right. Shall we start talking? We'll go guards. We'll go bigs. There'll be the inevitable news. We'll talk a little bit about BetMGM and all that fun stuff. But let's hit the guards here first. An ace of spades. Perfect timing. Love the etiquette. He's asking for DK tiers. So let's do those real quick before we go in. I do as well. So we can on this one. So who do you like here in tier 1? I'm guessing it is going to be the one and only Domantas Sabonis, or are you going to go with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
It is going to be Sabonis ever so slightly. I mean, this is a pretty darn interesting tier, I think. OKC Memphis, but like the blowout risk that exists there in the Memphis one can't be understated. So definitely going to be Sabonis.
Yep. So I agree with that. Nine triple doubles in his last 15 games.
Seems good.
Leading the league in rebounds yet again with a personal best 13.3, which is 1 more than he had last year, which was also his personal high. Tier 2 gets a little interesting. You have De'Aaron Fox, who scored 77 points in the last 2 games, including a career high 44 2 games ago. You've got Alperen Sengun, who is quite intriguing. You're going to go with Sengun there? I am as well. I like it. Good matchup there against Sabonis. They will have to battle for rebounds, but Sabonis is not going to shut down Sengun. That's some good alliteration there. Battling in tier 3, Bam Adebayo, Jarrett Allen, or Paolo Banchero. Who you got?
This is the closest tier for me. I'm going to go with Jarrett Allen. I do not blame you if you want to go to Bam against Washington. He should eviscerate Washington, but I'm pretty positive that Jarrett Allen's going to play about 4 or 5 more minutes than him. There's also the blowout risk there. So Allen ever so slightly, but if you wanted to go Bam or Paolo Banchero, it's Paolo gets Indy. Come on. I mean, this is one of those, like, I'll just take the minutes certainty with Cleveland.
It's almost like you read the DFS building blocks, which is free every day.
I did not. But here's the thing is that Team Eric, we think about things the same. So
the cover guy, none other than Jarrett Allen. Even though he's a center option today, we're going to talk about this. He is power forward over there on FanDuel, but he is going to be a prominent part of our role. So I co-sign that one. Tier 4, you have Zion, Garland, and Ingram. Do you have a lean there? They're definitely above. Yeah, I would.
I
I would think
like
so.
Garland, but like Zion against Atlanta, yeah, we're gonna go Zion.
That makes a lot of sense. Tier 5, you've got Holmgren with the blowout risk. You've got Franz Wagner doing a little bit of everything against Indy. That could be fun. Or Terry Rozier going against that depleted Washington lineup. It's a hair splitting there, but I think you're going to say Franz Wagner.
I am.
Okay, there we go. And then tier 6, Vince Williams carrying the questionable tag. Denny Avdia playing quite well. Surprised to see him in tier 6 there. And Jalen Williams. They're kind of the top 3. I would probably go Avdia myself.
I would go Vince Williams and then swap to Jalen Williams in the event that he gets ruled out.
Okay, I like that. All right, we are getting out of it. This should take 20 seconds and it lasts forever. Do you guys just realize I gave you one good tidbit about every player that we talked about here in that short amount of time?
Get him, EMac. Get him.
Pay attention. Pay attention. All right. Going to the guards here, the big decision point is going to be what will you do with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because he has one of the best raw point totals on the slate, but you mentioned blowout risk. Last I saw, OKC was almost 15-point favorites. Is it going to be him? Do you trust DeJounte Murray, De'Aaron Fox? Does the heater continue, or is Jalen Brunson still a little gimpy, and how's his knee doing? That's our core four at the tippy top.
Yeah, I think what's tough about this slate with SGA, with Domantas Sabonis, with a lot of the spend ups is that you have Bam against Washington at 8,200. You have Jimmy Butler against Washington at 8,400. You have Franz Wagner against Indy at 7K. There are just so many ways that you have to be looking at this mid-range and just be extremely interested. And then, like, what do we really have for value? It's a 4,300, 4,500. We don't have any 3K pieces. I mean, Craig Porter Jr. is in play. I'm not going to have 18, 19% of him at 3,200, but like, everybody's in the 4K range. And so for me, it's just forcing a type of build where it's hard to really get to SGA. I like Domantas Sabonis, again, talking about him for tiers, but he is 10-8 today against Houston, a team that, you know, they have a 120 total against. They're playing at home, so it's nifty, but I prefer the Şengün side of that one, even at 9,300 between the two of them. So again, I'm finding it hard to be able to spend up for some of these guys. And SGA, there's blowout concern. You know, he's been happy to take a backseat in some of these type of games where, you know, everybody else on his team can kind of contribute. He doesn't have to carry the entire load. And for all intents and purposes, they're 15-point favorites with 3 pieces of news pending. So if they end up punting at Memphis, that is, you could be looking at like the largest spread of the entire season when this thing tips off. I hard pressed to think of anybody that could have been higher. Maybe Boston against Detroit or something. But I think this is going to be again, if you get all 3 of those pieces ruled out, you're looking at a team with like 8-9 guys. We're going to play Memphis, which sucks because they're going to be 17.5, 18-point dogs.
What do you like from the mid tier of guards? That's where we get into our Van Vliets, the Brandon Ingrams, Terry Rozier, Josh Hart, who could play 49 minutes in a 48-minute game. What do you think about the mid tier?
That's a good way of putting that. 49 minutes in a 48-minute game. Make him run some wind sprints during timeouts. I think that would be a fun one to watch.
He just heads over to the stairs and starts running up to the concourse.
Oh my God. Remind me the question. Sorry, I just had this vision of Josh Hart told by Tibbs to like sprint up the stairs at Madison Square Garden during a timeout.
That would be kind of our mid-tier guys, the Brandon Ingrams, Fred VanVleet, Terry Rozier,
yep, all of them.
They're okay. They can reach 50 fantasy points. That outcome is a little dodgy, but also dodgy is their fantasy points per dollar. It's a little bit less than some of the other players. So they're kind of nestled into the, we forgot about these guys. And then you see them on the winning lineup and you're like, why didn't I roster them?
Yeah. For me, I'm obsessed with playing like the 7-8K guys. Like for me, that's going to be where I play a lot of pieces. And, you know, Cleveland talked about Karis LeVert 6,600 against Brooklyn, and I still just don't care. I'm still going to have tons of him, it would appear. I'm rerunning the Sims here one more time, but you know, for me, the big stand of the entire slate would just be like, hey, I hope I don't get completely eviscerated by a 75 spot from somebody here at this top tier, because if I don't, I mean, you're bringing up 50 as like an outlier. 50 is not that far off for a number of these guys in 7 and 8K in this range. And, you know, I don't feel that great about any sub 4K value. I don't see any sub 4K value that I really like on this slate. So because of that, unless some random news shows up that changes my perspective on that, I mean, everybody that I want to play in the mid-range, the Sam Merrill 4,300, George Niang 4,400, Isaac Okoro 4,900, they're not really giving me access to get up to the tippy top. Now, if Craig Porter Jr. ends up playing more minutes and he ends up smashing, well, good for you. I probably will not be there. It would appear looking at my lineups, but that's really the path to trying to get up to some of these guys is getting to more than I would like there when you've got, again, Bam and Butler and Allen and all of these 8K guys, Zion Williamson 8,100 against Atlanta. They are in such prime spots.
You kind of started hitting on it and dancing around it. Is there any cheapies that you can trust aside from Memphis?
Yeah, so I mean, Sam Merrill's the chalk right now, and assuming that he starts, it's hard not to like getting to Sam Merrill in some capacity. I've never gotten him right. He shot the ball terrible in his start, but he played 31 minutes in his first start of the season here. I would feel really good about putting him in for 30 right from the get-go. Again, there are just so many pieces out. Not having Dean Wade out there is useful. It's for sure very, very useful. Okoro, I feel pretty good about him playing 35, 36 minutes as well. So that's a guy at forward that I'm happy to be getting to. I think center's kind of the toughie because Bruno Fernando's pulling ownership at 4,500. I don't really, no, he's not. 6.5%. I had that wrong in my sheet. But I do like getting to like that mid-tier of center, high end of center of like Bam, Allen, Holmgren, and then Domantas Sabonis is just very difficult to access here. That's where Jaren Jackson Jr. could end up looking much, much better here come tip-off if everybody around him is out against OKC. He'd be the only saving grace and somebody that I'd probably, if I were building out one lineup, be like, all right, if I'm going to play Jaren Jackson Jr. at 8,700 with everybody out, might as well bring SGA along for the ride and hope it stays close somehow, some way, because Triple J is the only way that happens.
All right. Before we get into forwards here, I'd like to mention presenting sponsor, Sir BetMGM. We've got a deal going on for you right now. This is go in through our link. I will drop that into chat here. I'll be racing producer Jacob to get that in there. But if you guys come in through our link and you put in a $10 deposit, as soon as you make a $5 wager, you will get $150. In bonus bets. Yes, $150 in bonus bets just for making that $5 wager after you deposited $10. Some sites make you win that first bet to get that $150. BetMGM does not. So you definitely want to check that out. I put the landing page there into the chat. So that is something that is very, very helpful. You need a starter bet tonight. I'm going over here to Odd Shopper. I'm looking at the best BetMGM bet, and that is going to be Zion Williamson under 6.5 rebounds. Now we are projecting him for 6.27 right now. That is minus 115. It has a 56% win rate. We're saying that should be minus 129 instead of minus 115. So that is a 5.3 expected ROI or potential ROI, positive ROI, as some would say. But check that out. That is BetMGM. Let's use as our leverage point Caris LeVert. I'm not in the starting lineup yet. Somehow I'm still going to play 60 minutes, 35 minutes until I spontaneously combust on the field or on the court. I got baseball on my mind here, so and football at the same time. But what are you thinking about Caris LeVert, kind of that shooting guard, small forward? Even if he's not starting here, he is looking like he's going to play a lot of minutes for the semi-shorthanded Cleveland team.
Yeah, saying I love him maybe be a little bit strong, but I think he's one of the better tournament plays that exists on this slate. I want to get to this two-gamer here. He only have a 107 total, but it's just minutes and opportunity. He's going to get all of the minutes and all of the opportunity here. He can actually create, which you don't really have anybody else there outside of Darius Garland that's going to be able to do that for Cleveland here today. Needs to put balls on the tee for the likes of Sam Merrill, for the likes of some other guys shooting it off the bench. But Caris LeVert, I am well overweight to him. 6,600 gives you a little bit of sticker shock. These are like back in his Brooklyn days kind of tags that you were paying for him. But shooting guard, small forward, fits into the lineups nicely and gives me a ton of maneuverability based on the Memphis news. So Caris LeVert is somebody who I actually did boost a little bit. Not that I had to boost him that much to be getting to him in the Sims.
All right. And then hit a couple other Cleveland guys here. Okoro and Yang. Are you assuming those guys stay in the starting lineup?
Yes, I am. So starting lineup that I have in right now at the moment is Garland, Merrill, Okoro, Niang, and Allen with Levert off the bench. I don't know how much Craig Porter Jr. plays. I think that's kind of what I'm worried about is that, they really don't need to play him all that much with Garland out there. Garland's been playing like pushing 40-ish minutes. It's a terrible spot here. And there was a part of me that I was like, do I take some Mikal Bridges unders, on the back-to-back here for Brooklyn? Ended up not doing it. I didn't see any coach speak that said that he would be on any kind of a limit like we got last time, and then he just played a quarter and sat. But at least have it on high alert that that's something that's always live to happen. We have Lonnie Walker in there today as well. So, yeah, it's an unappealing game environment, but because of the lack of options there for Cleveland and the tight rotations that I'm expecting, it's one of the better teams to roster on the slate.
All right. I see we have a couple super chats queued up. We're going to put a pin in those for just a moment here because we're going to get that 5:30 news drop here. So that should clear up some of our starting lineups here for the 6 o'clock games. We did get Rashawn Holmes ruled out with that sprained toe, but we'll talk about the DK favorite plays as soon as we get that. In the meantime, we are going to be able to talk a little bit about this one from Phil Zenzik. He's asking about Cole Anthony, Isaac Okoro, and Bruno Fernando. You kind of mentioned two of the last three in the last 45 seconds here. Cole Anthony being the missing piece there. What is it going to take for you to get to Cole Anthony tonight? We do know that Markelle Fultz is out.
Not a lot. He's in a lot of lineups for me. 4,700 with no Suggs, no Fultz. I mean, this is a spot where Anthony Black probably picks up around 20-ish, 22 minutes as well. Like him and Cole Anthony, but Cole Anthony's a 1.03 fantasy point per minute producer. If he goes out and plays well, I mean, this is Indy. He could end up out there for a long time. Isaac has been getting ramped up as far as like the minutes go. So he's been playing more at times. He can get up to 25 minutes. We saw that against Chicago a couple weeks back. But 16, 17 kind of being the baseline, like they can go to some point Banchero stuff if they want to, or have Franz Wagner ball handle. Like they have no issues with that. But Cole Anthony's the guy who just makes the most sense to have on the floor for 24 plus minutes. We've got him in for 23 and a half. I think that's just fine. But I got to think that there's more of an upside for his minutes than Anthony Black based on just like what we've seen here in the past. Gary Harris is the bane of my existence. I'm sure now he'll go out and eviscerate at 4,100 and Cole Anthony won't play very much, but at 4,700 for Cole Anthony, one of the better plays of the slate.
Right. I want to remind everybody we do have the Stochastic Avatar promotion here. So that is for getting into the Hall of Fame and getting any 1 month package up to $199 for free. If you download that Stochastic Avatar, upload that to your DFS site of choice, finish top three, that's first, second, or third. No ties. You can have a 3-way tie for first, 5-way tie for first. Nope, no go. Need to have 5,000 or more entries into the contest. You take a screenshot with that Stochastic Avatar, send that to Stochastic HOF over there on Twitter, and we will reward you with that gift, and Lofty will induct you into the Stochastic Hall of Fame. Very, very easy to get in, and you're crazy not to do it. The other thing we have is we bundled together all of the data. So we've set that aside from the Sims product, bundled together all the data, but we're still giving you that $100 off per month avatar promotion as well, that as we're doing for the Sims. So check that out. That is the Stochastic Data Bundle. All right, Eric. I see. Here's one more. Chuck Deuce using his membership chat. He says, hey, can we get any FanDuel ownership? 1, yes. 2, let's wait till that updates. And 3, I just dropped that playback link into the chat. You guys will notice how there's not as many tools or things going on this screen here on the YouTube screen. That's because producer Jacob is sharing that all over there on playback. So you guys can check that out. He's showing DK right now in The Sims, but I'm sure he can flip that over to FanDuel and show some of the ownership or even the ownership projections themselves. But that is in playback. That is free. We're going to be, we aren't going to be on doing a playback show tonight, but we will turn on the games. You guys can watch there. We'll keep tabs. We'll have some fun. We had about 300 people watching for an extra hour after the game. There were still about 150 watching it.
I'll hang out for a little bit after. Yeah. I'll hang out for about 20, 30 minutes after the show. I'll hang out and play back.
I gotta Eric
run
Lindquist.
some stuff.
Look at that. Hiding from work yet again, hiding from the wife.
No.
Isn't she busy tonight? Doesn't she have marketing?
She's in Austin. She's in Austin. She's at South by Southwest. So they're setting
Gotcha.
everything up for this week and, getting going with that. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Taking us through the rest of the forwards, how and centers. Bam Adebayo looking pretty good. It's probably going to see some center Kuzma tonight. We saw that 2 games ago when Bagley was down. Last game it was Rashawn Holmes, but Rashawn Holmes is down. Bam Adebayo looking phenomenal. We already talked a little bit about Jared Allen. He's power forward eligible over there on FanDuel, as is Domantas Sabonis. There's some pretty lofty characters here, including Alperen Şengün. A lot of raw points sitting out there in the front court tonight, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, who the fuck is going to guard Bam? I mean, this is not... Kyle Kuzma on Bam is funny. Like, I'm not going to lie. Thinking about that is awfully funny. I think Anthony Gill has to at least be considered by Washington to start. Omar Rui, I saw somebody put him into chat. He's 6'6". And he does not play like Draymond Green, where you can be 6'6", 6'7", and like play much bigger than what you are there. Omar Rui played at Oregon back in the day, quack, quack. And he's just he's out there. He's not really a big like that. So, I mean, maybe there's an unexpected amount of minutes that exist for him off the bench, but I got to think that Anthony Gill is somebody that they have to at least consider to throw out there. They've been happy to have Kispert not start, but I originally was thinking that this could be like a Tyus Jones, Coulibaly, Avdia, Kuzma, and then, having Bagley, but now Holmes, but now with Holmes out, I guess you go Kispert, Kuzma would be like a default answer. I bet that's kind of going to be the industry consensus, but it wouldn't shock me to see Anthony Gill be the guy who ends up getting the starting nod, simply because they need somebody out there. He's 6'8", 6'9". I think that would be a little bit more doable. But yeah, again, if it's going to be Kuzma and Bam, best of luck to you, Kuzma. You're going to get absolutely eviscerated.
Do you think there's a chance that they sign Drew Gooden to a one-night contract and have him come out from the announcers behind the announcers table to stand there in the way of Bam tonight?
It's literally not the worst idea I've ever heard.
The Wizards are looking rather thin, literally thin. Front court here. So. Yeah,
Daniel Gafford in Dallas. The other 2 centers that you had to replace him are out. I have no fucking clue how they even like remotely slow down Bam. And now with that being said, congratulations, Washington, on your W for no reason.
Oh, no. They took care of that. They got to 10 wins. They're not going to have the worst record. They entered their 16-game slide. They're going to lose all 4 of this upcoming road trip here. And even if they're playing well into the third quarter, they'll take their foot off the gas. Ladies and gentlemen, your Washington Wizards. Thank God they own their own pick.
Yeah. James Perkins, Bam and Cash. Absolutely Bam and Cash. There's no planet where I'm not playing Bam and Cash today, but I'm not playing Cash.
All right. We did get an update. Are you prepared in the projections here? Would you like to go through DK favorites at each position? Yeah, let's do it. I had a couple of questions that were existing for that. So let's run through position by position. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Point guard. Yeah, so there's a couple of different paths that you could throw it out there. I really, really like Terry Rozier, Miami, Washington. Again, this entire game environment. Cole Anthony, somebody that could be considered for sure. And then Darius Garland, I just think is getting really underappreciated. 8K, there's nobody there. I have him for 40 minutes against Brooklyn. Think I want to roster that. So 8K Darius Garland, probably my favorite tournament play of the position. I would concur with those. What do you have over at shooting guard? Yeah, Sam Merrill by a lot, and that's all assuming he starts. If we get something different showing up, sounds great. And also, I just reran some stuff. Now I'm actually getting to Craig Porter Jr., so what a time to be alive. All right. I hate everything. Potential on the cheaper side, perhaps a Cam Whitmore. Would you draw? I hate it. I hate it. And I love Cam Whitmore as a player. There's just no minutes upside. You're never going to see him get to 30. It's just never going to happen. I've got him in for 22 minutes. I don't want to really come off of that. He can get to 24 if he's going complete scorched earth heat check, but like Amin Thompson in that rotation as well. Obviously Jalen Green can get the bulk of the opportunity there at the 2. It is such a thin play. And
4,400. I love watching Cam Whitmore play. I'm surprised he doesn't get more playing time at times, but like, whereas Malik Monk can play himself into 35 minutes, 36 minutes at times, Cam Whitmore cannot play himself, no matter what he does during any rotation, into 30 minutes. It's just impossible. They just have no desire to do that with him.
All right. And then the only other one that was sort of popping up that we had not mentioned yet was Dennis Schroeder. Ooh.
Yeah. Not in love with it today.
All righty.
He's got shooting guard eligibility, 6,200. Like, I don't completely hate it, but like Lonnie Walker playing more minutes. Dennis Smith Jr. can play still 16, 17 minutes. Cameron Thomas is back.
$1,500 for Cole Anthony, even though you're taking a 30% point discount as well. Still.
Yeah. Again, there's an opportunity at 4,700 for him to just fit into lineups and be all right no matter what. We got the Rozier, Duncan, Robinson, Butler, Jovic, Adebayo. So exactly what we were expecting here for the Heat. That's good to know because they do weird stuff from time to time.
And thank God the Monday game news dump is coming out right at the same time, because of course it is. Yes. All right. Kind of maneuvering over here to small forward. We haven't mentioned Jaime Jaquez. He and Jovic actually got some pretty good minutes in the last game. Jaquez is a guy I can see getting some serious fourth quarter run in mop-up duty here.
Yep.
As the rookie can kind of do a little bit of everything and give Jimmy Butler a break there. Do you like him? What else do you have at small forward on DK?
Yeah, I think Jaquez is a nice shout out. Duncan Robinson too, 5,500 for him seems like an overpay, but I mean, this is the fastest paced team and worst defense, and they don't have anybody over 6'9" other than Kyle Kuzma, which is just hilarious to say again. Because it's like, those high school teams from a small town that just have nobody tall. And for whatever reason, that's an actual NBA team in Washington here today. So what a time to be alive. I think it's very clear cut. Butler and Wagner are going to be the two highest owned at small forward. They should be. Gave some love to Karis LeVert. I think he's projecting out very, very nicely here. Off of the bench, there is a massive minutes upside with everybody out there. If you want to get a little bit different, I do like Brandon Ingram as well. Atlanta, this is going to be a matchup just because you have everybody healthy for New Orleans that, you're getting diluted projections like the McCollums, the Ingrams and the Zions. I think Ingram and Zion are pretty much fantastic tournament plays on any of these slates. And now you get the Atlanta matchup on the other side. Sub 10% Brandon Ingram on this slate seems really fun.
All right. Caleb Martin. Somehow we didn't mention him. How are you feeling about him? I guess he's power forward now, though, no longer small forward, shooting guard.
Yeah, it's the positional. He's only power forward, and he's great over there, but we just hadn't gotten to that position yet.
Yeah. Anything else from small forward would you like to segue to?
Absolutely not. Feel good about it. Power forward's a pretty fun position. Like, you have Caleb Martin on the cheap end. He should be popular. But then Banchero, Zion, both are fantastic. I don't think I'm going to click on any Jovic, although, again, it's Washington. You talked about mop-up duty. Don't sleep on the fact that Jovic played 30 minutes against Oklahoma City in a competitive spot. But then also, if this is a blowout, do they really care about worrying about Jovic's minutes? We've got him in for 19 and a half. And I think, again, that is where I project him at. But the way that things can change, they are doing the exact lineup we said before. Jones, Kispert, Coulibaly, Avdia, Kuzma, and Bam. What a world. What a world. Kyle Kuzma, 8,300 is a decent play in his own right at 5% ownership. But God, do I love Bam today.
Absolutely. Quickly to the starting lineups. We just got to dump of them. Houston is Van Vliet, Jalen Green, Brooks, Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün. The Kings are Fox, Herter, Barnes, Keegan Murray. Ooh, we should talk about him at the power forward spot. And Domantas Sabonis. Wizards, as you mentioned, Jones, Coulibaly, Kispert, Avdia, and Kuzma. And then rounding it out with Miami, Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Butler, Jovic, and Adebayo. We've been getting some pretty decent minutes lately for second-year player Keegan Murray. Can he keep that up?
We've gotten decent minutes. The major issue that you're running into, you've ran into an absolute walking heat check the last month or so for Malik Monk, and the usage is just nowhere to be found when you have Monk, Fox, Sabonis, at times Herter as well, out on the floor playing more minutes. I mean, these games are just ridiculous to look at. What, 4 shot attempts in 30 plus minutes against San Antonio, competitive spot, 8 the 2 previous against the Lakers in Chicago. With this kind of volume way down, I mean, he's 5,700 still, and Houston isn't like a quote unquote good matchup by any means. Yeah, they're at home. Yeah, he can play mid 30s minutes, but you're going to need a lot of things to go his way. Specifically, he just has to shoot the ball more. I mean, it's impossible to score fantasy points unless you're attempting shots for a Keegan Murray. He does average north of 5 boards per game, I suppose, but never going to be fleet of foot there in the passing department. And Keegan Murray, the power forward is just such a good position for, paying down or paying up, that I find it difficult to land on anything there. Plus, we have 2 guys that I think, 3 guys, Jackson, Aldama, Stevens. I think all of them could be very, very interesting if you get GG Jackson out. I think one guy in Lamar Stevens could end up playing a lot of minutes. We had 29 for him against Atlanta. There are a lot of iterations of lineups where, they have Wenyen Gabriel and Jameson there now as well, but there's nothing to say that Lamar Stevens isn't closing in blowouts or close games. Like, those are the kind of guys that on these terrible teams are actually interesting to get to, where it's like, all right, I think he's going to be pretty game script proof here, where if he goes out and puts his thing down, plays decently well, there might be some pronounced upside for him. But as it stands right now, I have Lamar Stevens at 21 minutes. I would be bumping him up, though. You have to take 25, 26 minutes from GG Jackson and spread that other places. Vince Williams, Luke Kennard. So want to at least throw out that power forward could look even better with those 3 Memphis guys potentially.
We were missing one name there, Jake LaRavia. That was a call out there from Sniffs in the Discord
chat.
He
is only small forward. He is not power forward.
How do you feel about him if Kennard, Williams, and Jackson are out? Does it just take 2 of the 3 to be out to get to
I played a stupid amount of LaRavia the other night. I'm such a fish.
Was that
he's
his
5,100 now.
Bad game, because he's pulled the okey doke on us.
Oh, against Portland, he had like 8 fantasy points, and then he goes on an absolute ballistic tear. Yeah, it was like the Saturday slate or whatever it was from a week ago. Yeah. Played so much of him. I played a lot of him recently, and he played well, but I just remember being very, very upset against Portland. Jake LaRavia, 5,100 is still in play, but I have to at least throw it out there that tag is a little bit concerning. 5,100 here. I would need all of those guys to get ruled out, and then I'll probably click on some LaRavia.
All right. We got the Hawks lineup. It's Murray, Vit Krejci, Bogey, Sadiq Bey, Clint Capella. Pellies are CJ, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and Joval. We already got the Rockets. So let's talk a little, round up the centers here. Şengün, Sabonis. We've mentioned how much we really like Bam and Jared Allen.
Yep.
A lot of center options tonight.
Yep, and then Chet as well against Memphis. We have a pretty low minutes number on him at 30. We're factoring a little bit of a blowout, as you should be there. The usage has been spotty at times, but I really like Chet when you're getting him at, I'm not going to call it low ownership, but you're getting him at 7,500, which gives you a little bit of savings. There's no doubt, though, Bam Adebayo, my favorite center play, by an absolute landslide. I don't know what Washington has no chance to do anything against him. He should be able to do absolutely whatever he wants. Jared Allen, talked about him earlier. The minutes are going to be there in a pronounced way against Claxton and company. So pretty excited about getting him there. Is there anything you like to get different with at center? Because I've got one guy that makes me want to vomit a little bit, but I don't know if I could humanly possibly encourage people to put their hard-earned money on Paul Reed today.
B-ball Paul coming into play. He's got a wicked, 1.27 fantasy points per minute when Embiid and Max
0.8% owned, coming off of some 40 burgers. Again, it feels a little chasey that he's just started to play well now, but maybe the other shoe drops here. Maybe we get him starting over Mo Bamba again, because again, that should just be the case at this point, but just seems like they're pretty apprehensive to do so.
How many fouls is he going to get? Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Yeah. Unbelievable, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. We have the popularity projections updated. Any love for Joval? Hit Joval, and then we got a request for FanDuel plays.
No, I can't. Joval needs to get back to 5K, and then we can have a conversation. At 5,900, it is still unbelievable how many times he just plays 20, 22 minutes. You're just never ever getting that minutes upside ever again. So he's priced that way because he's a good fantasy point per minute producer when he's on the floor, 1.26 DraftKings points per minute on the year, but there's just no way that I could click on him at 5,900 on this stacked of a center slate.
All right. Do you want to do a quick run through FanDuel? Do you have,
I built some FanDuel lineups out earlier. I don't think we've had any news that's really changed anything that I've done here so far. So, I'll list off whatever I got here.
Fire away.
Yeah, so point guard, pretty clearly, Terry Rozier at 6,800, considering he's 7K over on DK. He's the guy that if I were playing FanDuel today, I'd be getting to tons of. Sam Merrill, 4K. Really hard not to get to him. He is eternally owned over there, but north of 40% optimal percentage. That's good enough for me. At small forward, by Jimmy Butler, it is. I wanted to say Bam so bad because he's definitely my center. There's no doubt about that. Power forward is Franz Wagner, although we'll give a special shout out to Bruno Fernando because he's 4,300. Again, cheaper than his DraftKings tag. Always something to take note of over on FanDuel. And then he has power forward eligibility. So I think Bruno Fernando, a guy that I do not love for DraftKings, I would very much be playing him on FanDuel to get a little bit of those savings. And then center, Bam Adebayo. The one guy I was surprised about, just to talk about the overall lineups, the guy that I got a ton of, Dante DiVincenzo, 7K shooting guard, small forward, even with Jalen Brunson back. These minutes are just so ridiculous for these Knicks guys. And Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart, Achua, those four specifically are playing 32, 34 minimum up to 40. Josh Hart, 49, as you said before. I love that. I'm going to steal that the rest of the way. And Jericho Sims off the bench. Probably not going to be doing it over on FanDuel if I were playing there, but somebody to at least consider on the cheap end.
All righty. We did get a request for favorite $9,000 spend up options here. I'm going to assume that was DK.
Yeah, for DraftKings purposes, Şengün. I think, again, center is, you've got Bam, who I'm going to have in just about everything. And then you've got Jared Allen, who's a phenomenal play, who I really like. Domantas Sabonis on the spend up area there. But for 1,500 less, I'm getting Alperen Şengün. And that seems like a good thing to be rostering here at the moment. The guy looks phenomenal out there. I mean, this is Rinpack's call from, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. This guy would be a 10K player. We're not far away. I am very much impressed by what I've seen from Alperen Şengün this year.
I'm getting 42% Craig Porter Jr. That feels aggressive.
Yeah. See, this is the thing, is that 3,200, it opens up a lot. I'm going to go with it for now because the swappability to Memphis pieces gives me another lineup spot. Obviously, none of that is really a point guard. Let me see kind of the perspective. So I did some rough estimations of where I'd have guys at Vince Williams. You got, obviously, Goodwin isn't there, so that's difficult. You're going to have something different that has to start there. God, Point Triple J. That's going to be fun to watch, huh? You excited for that?
I love Triple J. I need a little help to get in one of my season-long head-to-head leagues.
Okay.
Playoffs. I'm fifth. It's against a bunch of Australians and one of my college buddies who played in the fourth tier Australian development.
Okay.
The NBA.
Yeah. So 9K spend up. I like 83 or 9,300 Alperen Şengün. That would be the right way of saying it. That's my favorite guy.
How are you feeling about Mr. Triple Double himself? Will Sabonis get his 23rd tonight?
Probably. There's no reason he wouldn't. Thing is, he's 10-8. I don't know. You're going to need a lot of stuff to go your way. Yeah. I'm curious if I even get to him here in this final run in the next 15 minutes, but we'll find out. I'm just waiting on this Memphis news, man. I'm overloading Cleveland, and I'll pivot if I can.
I'm ending up with 60% Caleb Martin. Is that a little aggressive?
That's just fine. He is one of the better pieces of value on this slate. Again, I like power forward. There's a lot of great tournament options, but you can play three of them. You have the forward spot, you have the utility spot in addition to the power forward spots. So 4,500 Caleb Martin playing 28, 30 minutes. That is very, very hard to say no to on today's slate.
All right. I see you just did another run of your Sims there.
Did my camera go out?
Of course it did.
Yep.
Of course it did.
There we go.
All right. Oh, chat's asking. I never know, but do you like to do the nuke of the night without critic?
Sure, I can do it. I have no allegiances. I can do it.
Slim Pickens.
What?
I didn't know if we had the graphic.
I know. I was gonna say, are you gonna do you were riding the rocket? Oh, there it is. Look at that. Producer Jacob.
He's on it.
He launched it. Yeehaw! There goes my balls. There they go. Friends, it is Karis LeVert season. I don't know how you don't love getting to shooting guard, small forward, playing the minutes that he has here off the bench. They need to have playmaking here. It's a disgusting game, but the 36-34 we've seen from him the last couple, there's a 50 burger coming very, very shortly. Wouldn't surprise me against Brooklyn here on their back-to-back, but Karis LeVert, shooting guard, small forward, 6,600, sub 20% here at the moment. I love the versatility that he gives me with this Memphis news. I love the versatility that he gives me to try to adjust into some Knicks pieces that I might want. And yeah, Oklahoma City, don't completely hate the idea of trying to get overweight to Chet Holmgren or other guys there, although don't think it's going to happen here. But those 3 late games, being able to react to these game environments, some of the stands I'm making earlier with the New Orleans Pelicans against Atlanta, talked about Ingram, talked about Zion. I think the same thing for Orlando with Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero going up against Indy. But mid-tier play, Karis LeVert, 6,600. I'm obsessed with his positionality and his opportunity. 1.04 fantasy points per minute here on the season. Expected to take a little bit of a bump up here. No Donovan Mitchell, no Evan Mobley. These are good things for everybody there. There's going to be somebody who pops here on Cleveland. Multiple guys, I'm hoping. Your nuke of the night, Karis LeVert.
All right. Somebody was asking, is there anybody that you are boosting? I kind of like, I was throwing out a few questions there myself to Eric because, hey, I have actual access to them. The only guys I'm boosting are a few guys at the bottom. I'm only giving them 5 and 10% ROI boosts, but it's like a Cam Whitmore is one. De'Aaron Fox, I'm only at 12%. I'd like to get a little bit more of that. His salary is up. George Niang, I'd like to go up a little bit more on that one. And the same with Darius Garland. But those guys, I'm only giving 5% boost because I'm comfortable with where everything else came out. It's a little flatter than what it has been for some of these. I mean, I'm missing out on Sabonis, but as Eric mentioned, that just you really can't get to him. Oh, Cole Anthony, I only have 11%. I'd like to get about 15, so I'm going to give him a 10% boost, and then I'm going to see where that goes. But usually, I'm putting my thumb on the scale on a couple of players. I'm not tonight. I kind of like where it's going out. It's partly due to the compressed slate as well because we are going to have the vast majority of the news outside of Memphis. So.
Brian Matthews, he just asked me, pick 6. This is one of the better pick 6 days you could ever play, and it's all because of Minnesota, Los Angeles. I know we're not going to cover that here for the main slate, but you have all these games early. I am quite positive Minnesota, Los Angeles, somebody is going to sit between Gobert, Anderson, LeBron, AD. They don't have LeBron or AD posted here at the moment. You're probably not going to have those in play, but you have D'Lo, you have Austin Reeves, you have Rui Hachimura, and then you have McDaniels, Conley. I mean, there are just so many ways. Ant, obviously, questionable too. So lots of ways that this news gets wonky here for Minnesota, Los Angeles. So if you're playing pick 6 and you're not having access to that game in multiple of your lineup cards, you're doing it wrong.
A couple more super chats here of Larry Nance Jr. or Vit Krejci.
Oh, man. Let me see if I have either here at the moment. The Larry Nance one always makes sense to me because, I mean, we just see him start so many second halves now. Problem is that Larry Nance has an 11.7% usage on the season. I do have a share of Larry Nance. Do I have any Vit Krejci?
I have no Krejci. I have 2% Larry Nance. And then another question is going to come in is Wendell Carter Jr. I've got 6% of Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah. And don't forget the other thing, like with the Krejci thing, is that you had him as a 3K piece and you didn't really know where the minutes were going to land. He played 22, which is more than I was expecting for him in that spot. He put up 18. You didn't need him. Now he's 3,400. So now you need him to have some extra things go right in addition to starting, in addition to, just being overall competent here. So he's at 23 minutes. Sure, if you wanted to get to a share, I'm currently not.
Am I saying that his name right? Vit Krejci.
Vit Krejci.
The old Basketball Reference and look that up.
I don't
Let's see
know.
what else we have popping up. Did we get any more news? Hey, Devin Vassell's gonna play tomorrow.
That's chill.
We
So
got
is Wemby.
Pacers, Halliburton, Nemhard, Neesmith, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. In the DFS building blocks, the wager of the day today was under 17.5 PRA for Aaron Neesmith. So there you go.
Love.
I think that Wemby's off the injury report, which means
Yep.
Zach Collins.
That'll be fun tomorrow.
Good times. No DeJounte talk. Actually, okay. So 2 questions here on Discord. No DeJounte Murray talk. He's at an apex salary. I love him. Go University of Washington. Go Huskies. He's so expensive at this point. New Orleans, adequate on defense. Not the most fast-paced team that there is. We're going to need 40 minutes. Again from Murray. I just find some of those other $7,000 and $8,000 players a little bit more appealing from that standpoint. But he was the featured play like 3 of his last 4 games leading into tonight. So his salary got up there. Thoughts of Craig Porter on DK single entry from Hitman J?
Yeah, you can do it. I thought I was going to be against this play. Again, this is why you want to be running lineups and actually looking at what you're doing here. Rerunning it, I'm getting to some Craig Porter now. I mean, the question is like with Cleveland in general, I have them for an 8-man rotation. They're not going to play Isaiah Mobley. They're not going to play Amani Bates. Like the only other guard outside of Karis LeVert that would see the floor here between Garland, Merrill, LeVert would be Craig Porter. Maybe he comes out, plays well, and they can play him and Garland together, but something just tells me that doesn't happen a ton. I don't think there'll be a ton of overlap between them.
All right. I see somebody was asking, will there be an ownership update? It was up 20 minutes ago. There might be one more. I don't think we got any crazy news since that. It collected the last news dump, and there wasn't any, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, there wasn't any surprise starters there with the Pacers, the Hawks, the Pellies, the Rockets, and the Kings. So those were all the ones that came in about 20 minutes ago.
Nice.
So I think we're okay on that. I am going to be getting my lineups ready for upload here because
a great idea.
I do so love using the Sims. I only playing one site tonight. Well, technically 2, but Yahoo doesn't lock till 7 because Yahoo's got to do Yahoo things. After last night with RJ Barrett and me not getting him fixed or my NHL lineups, I've decided I need to dial things back.
Yeah. I really want to talk about this Washington spot one more time. I have no clue what they're going to do here, but I keep looking at it and it's like, if I'm trying to create value from nothing right now, because again, Craig Porter Jr., he's in play for a very prominent reason. That's that he's going to play 18 minutes, more than likely 16, 18 minutes at an absolute minimum. And there's just no other guards that they could have roll out there. And he's cheap. He's very, very cheap. 3,200 gives you access to a lot of things. I think I'm going to force in some Omarui. I think he ends up being the guy like Anthony Gill. I was going through some box scores where I'm like, is this something that I would, I don't think we can trust it considering he's played 1 game since like in the month of March. He played 2 minutes in like a blowout run. So like Omarui is at least in the rotation. I think he has like 20-minute upside. We have him in for 15. He's 3K flat power forward center. Like, I think that's the guy that I want to get to that isn't Craig Porter Jr. If I'm looking to get completely ridiculous down on the cheap end. So I want to throw out that I just boosted Omarui because it feels like one of those spots where you kind of need to get there, I think. Like there's going to be something that breaks that way, whether it's through blowout, through opportunity, and at least he's in the rotation. So wanted to give him a special shout out before lock.
I already have him on 10% of my teams because
I have him in more now. So there's that. Yeah, I hate myself. I'm not playing your Cam Whitmore guy. I love Cam Whitmore. I've played him on too many slates this year, but I will not be playing him on this one.
I'm new to Cam Whitmore, so I will be joining the fan club of love or hate.
There you go. See. Yeah, probably hate. It's been mostly hate at times this season because you watch him eviscerate and you're like, oh, he's going to get run. He never gets the run you think he's going to get. It's very tilting. Yeah, 20% of Marie. That's exactly kind of where I'm at right now.
Did I put Jared Allen in my main lineup? I
Yes.
think I have to.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Let's get that uploaded, and then we'll talk the last 5
Also,
minutes.
what if let's say there's a world where Jalen Brunson went out last time and absolutely eviscerated. I'm sorry, I'm going through like the tournament plays, the guys that I'm kind of boosting or taking a look at. But let's hypothetically say that he had played more than 29 minutes, because again, they won by what, 24 against Orlando last time out. Just saying, Jalen Brunson, 9,400 might be underpriced at this point in time.
Seem to be at least mostly healthy from the knee issue.
Yeah. Him, Jordan Poole's another guy that I'm getting to for tournaments. Alperen Şengün, talked about him already. Jaime Jaquez, we talked about him. I'm just going through my lineups and trying to, like, if there's anything that stands out. Yeah, I ended up getting 4% of Larry Nance out of my 50. Aaron Neesmith is probably the only guy on Indy that I'm really going to get to in any way, shape, or form. My top ROI lineup did have Halliburton. I'm not going to be getting to a lot of Tyrese Halliburton today. That's just is what it is.
Right.
Shut up. Iowa State.
Real quick for Phil Senzig super chat, and I had the exact same thought. Yuck. Why is the Sims pumping up Lugens Dort? So I'm digging into it a little bit here. He's ending up in most of my top
positionality.
Top ROI lineups, but I only have him on 15% of my player pool, which I think is acceptable. It just seemed crazy that 8 of the top 11 lineups I have him.
Oh no, it makes you want to hate yourself. I totally get it. I totally get it. I'm very akin to that feeling of hatred towards my own self when doing such things.
Phil, the Lou Dort support group will be meeting at about 7:15.
Yeah,
the
there's
usual
cake.
spot.
I heard there's cake tonight. There's cake. I'm excited. Love cake.
Boy,
Dort is gonna have 5 steals. Yeah, no, that's the fucking truth. He just always does that shit when I downgrade him here in these kind of spots. It's weird to not get anything from Atlanta. Not really getting there. Yeah, just have a Memphis plan in place. Give a little bit of a boost to your friends, Laravia, or you shouldn't have to carve out that much with the amount of Cleveland that I have. I think it should be pretty easy for me to swap into anything on Memphis in the event that comes out a certain way. But wanted to at least have a game plan in place for another cheapie there in Omar Rui. So talk through that one. Feel pretty good about the work we've done here to help you set up some lineups that hopefully have a chance to be a little bit different on a slate, not with great chalk, but chalk that I think you need to be clicking on just because of the minute certainty.
Yep. I see some in super chat asking any Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on DK. I only got to 2%. Blowout potential is a little frustrating in this one. If you mean 15-point favorites against a team that potentially, as Eric has said multiple times, could be down to 8 players. If the 3 questionable guys break.
You're going to want to try to like jam them in the event that they only have 8. I mean, it is bleak. Also, the starting lineup could be the dumbest looking thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, I'm talking about everybody has small forward, power forward, or center eligibility in the starting lineup. That's a legitimate thing that I think could end up happening if you have one Vince Williams out, shooting guard, if you have one Luke Kennard out.
All right, and he was just speculating there. Those guys are not out, so hang tight there.
They're not. They could.
So we are going to slide on over to playback. I will drop that link again into chat. We will turn the games on and watch some of those. Eric's I'll hang out for a few minutes as well. We'll talk about some wagers because then I can get back to all the sports betting sites. I can't when I'm in Zoom right now.
Why are people mad that there's not a exotic play of the night? Fine, you heathens. Dante DiVincenzo.
Ooh, very
heathens.
Italian.
Very
Italian stallion. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway, continue on.
I do want to call out one last way to get a little extra scratch before we get into March Madness here. If you guys have not yet signed up to Bet365, if you sign up there coming in through our link, they're available in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, Louisiana, Kentucky, and probably North Carolina. North Carolina opens tomorrow. Check out our on stochastic.com. upper left deals, click on all the North Carolina ones if you're in North Carolina. A lot of those are giving out if you sign up before tomorrow, so you need to do this today. They're just giving you money, and then when you make a deposit, they're going to give you some more money. So check those out. That's going to disappear at midnight tonight. But Bet365, if you bet $5, if you come in through our link, you will get $150 in bonus bets. Pretty good deal. You'll want to jump in on that. But we are going to slide on over to playback. So thank you to BetMGM. Thank you to Bet365. Thank you to producer Jacob. You can follow Eric on Twitter at Eric Lindquist. I am at EMac DFS. And of course, it is stochastic_COM. With that, gamers, to playback we go.